Is Prince Harry more involved in this particular programme than we very first thought? As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you, and thank you as ever for your lovely kind comments about the brilliant Michael Crawford yesterday, the original Phantom of the Opera star. Yes, many people hadn't actually heard of Some Mothers Do Have Them. I don't know where you've been. It's been brilliant. It's been going on for 40 years, but it was a brilliant show, And as many people said, they sort of fell into the spell of the very talented Mr. Crawford when they found out what an excellent singer he was. There's a wonderful story attached to that as well, because Andrew Lloyd Webber wasn't necessarily going to pick him as the Phantom of the Opera, but he stumbled across him while going for a singing lesson with his then wife, the hot gossip dancer Sarah Brightman. She confirmed this as well, so it's a true fact. It's not a showbiz story. What an amazing thing to stumble across such a talent like that. He had no idea it was Michael Crawford, and apparently he said, "I think we found our Phantom," and history was made. Back as ever, though, to your breaking roll story of the day. Some people say this particular series may be making history in itself for all the wrong reasons. We're talking, of course, about Netflix's colossal success, The Crown. Although not so recently with the Series 5, it hasn't really endured itself to viewers. I think the bottom line is, I think people enjoyed the early stuff that was before their time. We could look back and think, oh, is this what went on? But as now we coming into an era where people remember certain things, you think, well, that didn't happen, or the absolutely ludicrous plot lines. It kind of makes Dallas and Dynasty seem almost like a Chekhov, doesn't it? When you think, some of them are just plain daft. But on a reasonable promotional tour to promote his now best-selling book, Prince Harry sat down with various people, and they asked him in particular, did he watch The Crown? Now, if you remember way back in the Oprah Winfrey interview, both of them sort of looked downcast, particularly Meghan, and said, yes, they'd seen it. Oh, trust me, they watch it all right, they have to. They're company people. They get paid by Netflix. But according to Harry in a recent spate of interviews, he claimed that, in fact, he did sort of fact-check certain things. Clearly, he's not across royal history too, because if he'd have been fact-checking it, he would have known that a lot of it's just absolute toss. But the bottom line is that, according to a very good source, and as ever we have to say allegedly, Prince Harry may have more of an involvement with the Crown than we very first thought. Now, it's interesting, isn't it, when you think, because, we do know that Sarah Ferguson was either approached or declined, we're not quite sure, either way, by the production team and then the writer Peter Morgan about assisting with the narratives of The Crown. She claims that she turned it down. They say that she contacted them. So there's been a bit of a misguided line between two, hasn't there? Now, I'm not suggesting for one moment that Prince Harry has indeed offered his services, but it would be rather remiss, wouldn't it, of Netflix as a company not to call upon their most ardent person in the royal fraternity. That was the ex-royal, that is Prince Harry. It makes perfect sense. Now, was this another Freudian slip? Was this a little telltale sign to say to the rest of the monarchy, well, if you don't like what you're seeing, and in particular, you've seen the recent backlash against the fact that they re-screened a reincarnation of that ill-fated interview with a disgraced BBC broadcaster, Martin Bashir, then this really would be a huge mistake on the part of Prince Harry. But the bottom line is, it was said with a twinkle in the eye. Is he an armchair detective simply just offering pivots of advice? Or indeed, is there a deeper association with this particular royal programme? Either way, once again, it seems that Prince Harry's managed to muddy the waters, but more importantly, associating with himself that is really, really not the right thing to be associated with, particularly in this splendid coronation year. Which either way you look at it, Harry's never fails, does he, to put his size 9s in it. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.